Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Will Walford, and we are back, baby. We are back. We are back. We are back. So, welcome to our episode of Trucker's Delight. I'm here with my. I have to point this way because I have to point opposite. Manny, right here. Manhale Eunice, and then I have to. Okay, there we go. Jason McCammon. Sweet. Thank you for joining us, guys. It is really cool. I miss you guys. It's been a minute, but we are here for Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 1 and 2. So, all right. Are we ready, guys? How are we feeling?
Ready for that bean footage.
Good. Bro,
Absolutely.
that beautiful bean footage. Boop!
Every other vote.
And you gotta admit, the dude that was coming down the aisle, he was kind of cute. I'd have carried him on my shoulder.
Here we are. Welcome once again to Trucker's Delight.
Like, literally, my mic falls down just as we go live. Hi, everybody.
Who you gonna be?
The captain of the Enterprise Z.
Love that baseball and the teacup, like clearly TNG DS9 fans. So.
Man, that we see Power Rates at some point in this season.
What is going on?
Power Rates has shit to do with the Power Rates.
No, everybody, this is actually one of the main screenwriters for Prodigy, so we are super excited to hear from you. And
No one
also,
listening.
I'm a little embarrassed for being this critical.
Man, I really love that intro.
This was a nice touch.
It was a very nice touch.
I like that. That's
It was
good.
Very nice touch. Hey, guys.
Is
All
the
right.
music slightly different in that intro?
It is, and I'm gonna I might change it again. But
I could hear it.
You could hear it. So what I did was I just adjusted the pitch.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Was that very beginning different? Oh no, what's the same?
There was like vague changes, but that was like earlier this year, like in January, when I made those changes, right? Like I made some slight changes. What?
Sorry,
What
go
happened?
ahead.
Okay. But yeah, I made those changes like in January.
I was talking about the show.
Oh,
I said
the
so
show.
what's gonna happen.
Oh, you talking about the show? I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, so we're getting off into Hegemony Part 2. Okay, because it's so serious, right, guys? So basically, we pick up off of the end of season 2. Okay. Captain Christopher Pike is in the middle of what I personally call his Kobayashi Maru situation. Why? Because he has to choose between staying and fighting half an armada of Gorn and getting the ship destroyed just to save a couple hundred colonists. And I don't mean to like minimize that in a sentence, but it's like he's really having to choose, and he's not leaving. He's not right away anyway. So what does he do? He asks everyone on the bridge options, which is normally what a captain does in Star Trek. So it's just like options. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, we could do this. No, it doesn't work. No, we could do that. No, it doesn't work. Well, one of them was in their frequency jam the Gorn's frequency. Now, they don't really use frequency the same way that we humanoids do. Are they humanoids or are they like quadrupeds? Or bipeds? I think they're quadrupeds. I think they're quadrupeds because they can get on all fours and they can just like go.
I think
but
or
right,
somewhere in between.
Right, so,
No,
right,
they
somewhere
walk
in
on
between.
2 legs. They use
Right.
They use optics.
They
use optics.
Right, of course. So, great. well, instead of using frequency or sound or radio waves or anything like that, or sonar, whatever, like they use a type of light. So they did something from their deflected dish or nacelles or something. It's Star Trek, guys. And they projected it at them to really try and disrupt things, and it worked because as soon as they did, two of them ended up being destroyed because they crashed into each other. So apparently they don't know how to drive blind. Like they don't know how to just keep their eye on the right side of the lane where that stripe is at whenever it's snowing outside. Like they really don't know how to drive when it's blinding. Turn your lights off so you can see. Anyway, so they didn't put as much emphasis on this part as I wish they would have, but they said, okay, we clearly can't fight them, we can't destroy them, we can't throw a star at them, and none of that is going to work. So we need to crash into their ship and breach our shields with theirs, so that way we can tag a probe onto there. But it's not just any probe, because they can see a probe coming from a mile away. They have to make sure that this probe is hidden inside a torpedo. Okay, so they shoot two, so they crashed essentially they crashed the ship into it, but there's no real damage had done to the Enterprise. Okay, as was done to the other two Enterprises that were destroyed, Generations and Beyond, if I'm not mistaken. And of course Nemesis. So yay, so we get official TOS version crash ship. Yay. Awesome. They shoot the torpedoes, one of them hits the Gorn's hull, the other one tags onto the ship. And then Pike was like, okay, we got him, we tagged him, let's go guys, let's get out of here. And then they warp the hell out of there and they head back to the starbase. Mm-hmm. And Manny, would you like to pick this one up from here? Or
sure. Yeah,
okay, so cool. Okay. They are also, the subplot is that they're working on trying to fix Captain Batel. Captain Batel has been infected with like the Gorn. They're trying to like come out of her stomach, and they're running scenarios, but it's all an excuse for Chaple and Spock to kind of flirt with each other and figure out, stuff about each other. No, we can't hear you, man. Sorry, Jason. Yeah, so they're talking about each other.
Also, don't forget about B Story.
Oh, we can hear him.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
There it is. Can you hear us, buddy? I can't see him. So, yeah, Captain Patel is like holding on for dear life, and they are trying to solve this biological problem, but they don't have Captain Mbenga. And on the ship, you have like Eric Ortegas and Mbenga and Sam trying to like figure out, and Lon having flashbacks to all of the times that she was on the Gorn ship, and she takes a gun and puts it up against the Gorn's head and like blows his head off. She's in and out of like, they find out that these are digesting chambers and that it's being like digested by the ship. This actually kind of blows my mind that how can these creatures be spacefarers? How do they have a ship like this? Obviously it's bioorganic and it's pre-digesting or drawing like energy from these bodies. It's wild, actually, biologically.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Could you hear me?
This was. I can hear you just fine. I couldn't tell if this was like a thing from Independence Day or Species 8472. But I do know we can all see the xenomorph component. Like the hive looking thing, but you can't really steal that.
The thing from Ortega's hand, like being partially digested and stuff, and it was a lot, right? Like her bleeding at the console, whatever. I could see they were trying to set up these like scenes, but like, I'm not trying to knock Star Trek. I'm just saying, like, if I saw like her fingers, there was like a hole in her hand, and like it went up to, like, that's so horrifying. Imagine coming out of a digestive chamber and part of your skeleton had been dissolved. Like, call it a day. I just mean like she piloted a ship after that. That's wild and intense, like as a plot. So they found these transponder signals, and Lon was able to get it because of the dud back to the actual ship. And they will also, I was like, get those guys out of here. Oh no, we can't hear you, Jason. Sorry, man. It pops in and out. I'm not sure what is happening there.
Yeah, on my end, he looks frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen for me too.
Okay, he'll come back.
Yeah, I think it's like that really slow internet where
Yeah.
like it pops in and out every
Ah,
bit ago.
okay. Okay.
He's still connected, right? But not in
Yeah.
real time. There he is.
Oh,
He's
he's
slightly
starting to
moving now.
move. Slightly moving. Like he's like
Yeah.
in slow motion. Maybe it's just like that Voyager episode. He worked just in 2 different times, where he's on like
We're out
we're
of phase.
Oh, they make that's the problem. The whole ship had to be like organic for they.
Oh, that was me, right?
yeah, I think that was for you. Hey, he's moving again.
Oh,
All right, he's coming back.
think
He's
I
coming
heard
back.
an echo of my own bit of talking.
And then I heard him speaking to you directly. He was speaking onto the digestive chamber. He was piggybacking off of what you were saying before.
I really want to know what he was gonna say.
I feel like he's
But-
gonna come back and he's gonna say it.
I hope. So anyway, to that point about just trying to, get the sort of plot points out. There's this wonderfully tense bit of like them on the Gorn ship. They get out the Parnassius people, what are the other colonists basically who like wrongfully got like hurt and stuff like that. And then they, as a subplot, reverse Batel's stuff with Illyrian blood, which gives us shades again of like bioengineering and like the ethics of using whatever resources you can in the moment, which is another great theme in Star Trek, biologically and ethically, bioethics. And then when Batel wakes up, they tell her, it's Pike, right? So Pike, I don't know if it's, they look so good there, but it's hard to, I don't know. I didn't like his acting in these parts of the. I hope I don't know if I'm alone on this, but like, it was interesting because it's been rare that an actor in the Star Trek world quotes the Bible. I know that Cisco's father did it, and then he got on his knees. He's like, "Okay, Dad, you win." It's like a man who had like religion in his ear from his old man or something. So they built that into the moment, where he's trying to revive her. And as soon as he's like down on his knees, she's like waking up and then, Chris? So
Yeah. They I do have thoughts, about that. I think it's interesting, but we'll get to that. Like we'll definitely get to that. If I recall, if I may, we're back inside for B plot. We're inside the ship. They're fighting off. They eventually, and then Pike has to convince. Yeah, that's right. Pike has to convince Admiral April, like, I think it's his name, that they need to go back and get them. Well, old S&W Baldy is like, no, you cannot. Like, you cannot. They are on that side of their territory. If you do that, you risk igniting a war. We're still recovering from the Klingon War, which is true. That is a valid point. Like, because he's thinking about the entire Federation, or rather, what's left of it, because they almost lost. But no, he said your orders are to do this, and the third. Unofficially, you need to find a way, and that is like part of the essence of what makes TOS TOS, because they just went in and just did things in their own cowboyish ways. Like they still paid mind to the morality and the ethics of certain situations, given the time. But they went in there and just did it. That's just the way it was. So they went back. Pike goes back, and Ortega's and the rest of them, to Manny's point, they escape the Gorn ship, Independence Day style.
yeah,
Like they still one of their own ships, and they fly on out of there. Meanwhile, Ortega's is go ahead.
There's a great sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just remembered the part where Pelia is interacting with Scotty and she's getting him to like.
Yes, here we go. Yes,
They're
like it's
talking
good to know
back and
that.
forth. Yeah.
How did you feel about that conversation, like between scientists? It's like now we know who Scotty's mentor was.
Yeah, that's true. And she didn't, she's like, he didn't show up for whatever. and she motivates him in like a certain way. So obviously she paid attention to him because I
Right.
think she sensed that he was brilliant, but like
That's
didn't,
right.
she's like, you don't work well with like a long amount of time, but give you a pressure situation, you perform. Actually, they're trying to onboard Scotty's foibles of like working under pressure. I like that
Yeah.
they're you didn't like it.
What? I don't think it's for me to like or dislike.
Sure it is.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I have no real frame of reference before TOS to tell the audience what Scotty's supposed to be. Like, so to me, if this is the beginning of how they want to write Scotty, before the Scotty that we knew,
Mhm.
the Scotty that I know is the prime, the evolved, the one with the pot belly. Okay, that's like Captain. She's pucking quite a wallop. Shield's weakening. Like the whole pirate old school ship like type stuff. That's the Scotty I know and love. But in order to get there, we have to get there. And what I like about this is that um I don't I what I like about it, I do like it. I like that this is in the Prime universe and I don't have to judge it from the Kelvin timeline. I'm looking at it from the Prime timeline.
Mm,
I'm looking at the beginnings of these characters from Prime,
mhm,
which
mhm,
I've never seen. I've only ever heard stories. Like,
mhm.
so I like if I recall in Kelvin timeline,
The Simon
Scotty was a
Pegg.
disgrace. Yeah, with Simon Pegg, great actor,
Yeah,
fabulous work. Loved his work. I believe he said to date that was his favorite role. Um,
yeah.
but it was he apparently that Scotty lost Captain Admiral Archer's dog from Enterprise in a transporter accident and got disintegrated across space. And then he like became like a technological engineering disgrace in the Federation. It was bad.
Imagine he killed Porthos.
He killed Porthos. And I'm going like, y'all killed Porthos? What did Porthos do to you?
I felt always in that scene that's funny that like Porthos was like a clone or like they had him on file or something like he could be reject like oh we killed his dog but like I didn't it was such a casually brutal joke. I thought maybe you know what I'm saying? Like that dog meant a
Yeah.
lot to Archer. You're right. It's
It
a
meant
bit of
a
a
lot.
throwaway joke. I agree.
I was just like, they really, this was Porthos we were talking about. Like, are we serious right now? But
I
whereas
agree.
with here, Scotty has a mentor and he's coming up and he's nervous. And he's a kid. Like even Chekhov was
kid.
17 when he started. So like,
And he was a soldier. Like he was born out of blood. Like we got to see him not
yeah,
in a cushy space. Like he was also recovering from something where he'd been in the wilderness and then he found this crew and he's like, you're not my commander. You're not my commanding officer, right?
is that the same story for James when he took on the role of Scotty? Because you know he came on the show with 9 fingers. He was there at D-Day.
James Doohan was a Canadian Army officer.
That's right. He
Yeah.
lost a finger in battle. Like,
He's a badass. Like his story
Yeah.
is really cool. Yeah.
so
So
I
I think
didn't
he,
know. Yeah.
I think that's part of it. Is that he's a it's like soldier. Like he's skinny and young and Scottish. So I get it. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to point out that bit of the thing because there were many threads that
Yeah.
sort of closed La'an's trauma and
Oh yeah.
everyone had kind of like a subplot and again we saw
Yeah.
Chapel and Spock like
Yeah. I mean,
it's like well
it
there
was-
won't they, right? Like
Yeah. Every time I looked at La'an, all I could think about was, oh, Star Trek Ripley. Hi.
huh. Interesting.
It's just like if you really want to do it, the xenomorphs are the Gorn, and the Yautja, aka the Predators, are the look of the the ideology of the Hirogen, but the look of the Narsicans.
Huh.
Like,
Yeah.
if you kind of put them together, you got yourself a Yautja, a Predator. Like,
Oh yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yes. Erosion, yeah.
But yeah, but I digress. I don't know, my
No,
ADHD
it's
just
all
takes me
good.
all over the place. I apologize.
Don't
Um,
apologize at all, man. We're having a great conversation, and I'm excited about SNW. This was a great way to start the season. It was full of action and adventure, and they tied up a plot, which is always nice to have a cliffhanger that like gets sewn up or whatever. I am trying to remember all the little bits, and it's nice that we're digressing like as we talk because we have time. We're good.
we have time.
Maybe Jason will figure it out. He'll tag back in.
It's like Spock and Chapel find a way to. I remember how they did it now. They were trying to go through the approach of removing the eggs in a way by medical force, which did not end well 84 to 100% of the time. and that 84% happened one time. So, well, Spock had his own epiphany and said, hey, they only hatch because they're hungry and they're looking for something to feed on. What if we nurture them while they're still inside and then take them out gently, basically. And he said, well, we have no way to test that. And he said, well, there's no time like the present. Get it done. and it worked, essentially.
They gave her Illyrian blood, which was
a couple of pints. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's supposed to help with battling infection. That was the way that they phrased it. And from what I understand, they basically like kind of paralyze the body or put it into a good like stasis with some sort of drug, and then fed nutrient to these things so that they would stop eating her from the inside out. And then they used the cells in a way to target them so that they would dissolve from the inside out. But that all that mass that's created has to be reabsorbed as protein into the actual body, and filtering it will be very hard on the actual organs and organ systems. So she was like not out of the woods yet because it takes a really long time to recover the elasticity of the human body. I like that actual realism. So she's still recovering, it's not an instant thing or whatever. Yeah, I thought they were going to do more with that plot because they figured out a way to repel the Gorn. They figured out a way to attract the Gorn, and that they were using all of these optical frequencies and back and forth, no windows, right? They didn't see windows. But then they also figured out part of the biology. I thought when Erica was like working her way back with that ship, they were going to bring back a ship. I didn't realize they're going to like, pull them out or whatever. I was hoping they were going to bring the ship back so they could be like, thank you for bringing the ship back. Let's to analyze. And there's so many missed opportunities. I'm a little upset sometimes.
You would think, and I regretfully, and for those that know me, they know why I have not finished all of TOS, but I did manage to watch the Gorn episode. And it makes it so it does make sense that because Spock and Uhura were on board the Enterprise 10 years later ish, probably less than that at this point, they would really remember, because in that episode of TOS they don't know much about the Gorn at all, at all. The idea of, by the way, long story short, guys, it was an old TNG Riker style move, Riker Data style move. They put them to sleep, okay? They put them to sleep and sent them on their way. It was completely instinctual, and then they somehow warped or teleported or whatever their way home, which we never saw. Right? We saw what the inside of their ship looks like, but which looks like its own weird technological ecosystem. But other than that, we don't really know that much about the Gorn, and yeah. So I get it. They're taking the approach like they did with, and they did the same thing in the next episode. They did very vague things, kind of like what they did with the Borg episode in Enterprise. We're only gonna do, or the Romulan episode, we're only gonna do a one-off, and then that's it. Like, because when I was watching it, I had similar hopes, Manny. I was hoping that we would have a new bad guy for the season. But not solely about the Gorn, but enough that it's like, oh, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of things you can do with this. And that's so cool. Like, I'm actually kind of glad that they let go of the xenomorph approach that they did in the last season and gave them more uniqueness in this episode. That really differentiates them from being a copycat of Fox's universe of xenomorphs. Like, that was my thing. I was like, please don't be an obvious copycat. Just please don't. And they expanded on it in their own way through a little bit of Independence Day, but it was fine. Like, now my reservations about there really wasn't reservations. I really want to make a comment. I did not expect Pike to pray. I did not.
It's interesting how religion weaves itself into Star Trek.
Well, Star Trek prides itself on not bringing our fourth wall religion into there. Now, it's okay for representation, to take place, because that's Star Trek. Like, but of course we know Sisko's father quoted the Bible. Ran the race, I finished the course, I kept the faith. I love that verse. Very good verse. It is a part of Pike's history that he was raised Catholic. He was an altar boy.
Oh, that's right. So it makes sense. That's part of the story.
It does make sense. This is how I feel about it. I am a very spiritual person, but I was raised Christian. If you're gonna do that throw in some Christian or Catholicism beliefs or sayings, the least you can do is make room for everyone else here and there.
Yeah.
Not just that. Because then that makes it seem like Christianity is the one and all for Star Trek, and that's not Star Trek. Like, go ahead, please.
I hear what you're saying. I just think, and I get it, that in that moment, that man was Christian, and he drew from what he knew. Like, I'm not Hindi, so I couldn't draw from a Hindu text as something that was familiar or whatever. So I think it's totally appropriate in that moment because we're telling a story of Captain Christopher Pike, and he was a Catholic, or he was an altar boy. And I think I forgot the line that he said that he was an altar boy. So
it happened a couple of scenes later. Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And it actually works better for the scene because he was so desperate, and he was also calling to his father. There was layers there. So what I mean is, not every moment needs equal representation. I like that it was a specific representation. It made it more authentic for me.
Okay. Shout out to you. Okay. That's why I like about my conversations with Manny. It's just like they're really like opening and they expand, and they make
me. This is why I'm saying I talk a lot.
He doesn't know this. I love talking, and I love listening to people talk. Now, will my eyes gaze a little bit? My brain will keep listening. But yeah.
I hear you.
But, so,
thank you.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I really liked it. Now, as a raised Christian myself, it made me smile.
Nice.
It made me smile from that aspect.
That's cool.
Because, and I liked the altar boy line because it was not forced. It was gently put in there, just like we know that when James T. Kirk was a boy, he was a Boy Scout.
That's right.
Right. He was a Boy Scout, and I think he turned to Eagle Scout. I wasn't quite sure, but I think in my head, I don't think he did, to be honest. Like I don't think he was that much of an accomplished. He was way too rowdy for that. Like, but I do think he was a Boy Scout, if I recall from Wrath of Khan. But
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I loved this first episode, part 2 of Hegemony. It was great. Only because I am biased, and I recognize that I'm biased. When and I know you cannot destroy the Enterprise, and I recognize that. But if you're gonna crash the ship, if you're gonna crash the saucer section, make it good. Like the first time that they did it, the first and only time that they did it good was Generations. Now, to be fair, the Enterprise D was destroyed. Okay, but in Nemesis, they still destroyed. They still wrapped it in there, and it worked. So it's like, but then with this one, there's a lot of moments, and I think you kind of commented on this a little bit. There was a lot of moments where they kind of just like just did it and then just went on. Like I'm sitting there going like, take your time.
Yeah,
Take your
they're
time.
trying to cram a lot. They're trying to cram a lot into these episodes. There was
And
so many
normally-
threads in this episode too.
Yes, absolutely. Normally, I would say, oh, it's because they know that they're going to be canceled after the 5th season. Now that we know, but which sucks. Like, how do you renew it 2 seasons and then cancel it? What the fuck? But
I forgot.
I'm gonna have to
about
call
that.
my I'm gonna have to call my film professor about that one because that does not make sense to me. Like, y'all must got a new CEO or something. But yeah. Final thoughts on this episode? Yeah.
They
Any
could have
likes,
done
dislikes?
worse.
They could have done
Like-
worse. Yeah.
It's so exciting to see them back and doing stuff. I think next they're gonna give Pike's hair his own show. Did you see how big his hair was? It was big.
Oh, they finally made a comment about his hair.
The hair products, yeah, that was good.
I'm sitting here going like, wait a minute, you actually have hair products in the 23rd century. That is awesome.
I froze. There are a few times they asked about Patel because her first name is Marie. So I sent you and Marie screenshots of, and I froze the screen. It's like, what did I say? Yeah, something. What, Marie? And then it's like Marie can have as many pints of blood as she wants or something. Like, I froze it at these 2 times where they actually called. So Marie, if you're watching, you can have as many pints of blood as you want from us. We're here to donate anytime. For those of you who are watching, thank you for coming back to Trekkers to Light. We haven't been around for a little bit. I'm happy to be representing Hamilton again. I'm back in Canada, so I'm in the same time zone as these guys. I can't wait to watch more of this. I'm watching the 2nd episode now in a little bit, so I only know like the first half of that, and it looks very interesting. It's 3 months later, and then some wacky stuff seems to be happening. So, like I told the boys, I don't care if they ruin it for me. They have more of a problem with it than I do. I'm happy just to know the story. Like, I'm just so edified to know like what direction the writing goes into. That's for me. It's like, I know some people. I get it because you're protecting my heart and my experience, so I understand. But I'm always just hungry to see how the writing turns out. Like, so for Keith or anyone watching, I love spoilers. I don't care. I'm happy to see whatever.
All right. He gave. You heard that, guys. You heard it from Manny. He gave me permission. So we finna do this. Okay. 3 months later, we are seeing La'an teaching Spock how to dance. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, back then they didn't call it Frontier Day. They called it Federation Day. Okay. Which was the day that we saw at the end of Enterprise, where the formulation of the Federation came to be, and I think later on it became Frontier Day in the Picard series. So it was that same day, which for them it is exactly 100 years later. I think.
Is it really a different name in the later series? You know what? That is the realest thing I've ever heard about Star Trek. that some people, hundreds of years after some like celebration day, they got together and said, "We're gonna rename this." And then they give themselves a bunch of high fives, and they had no impact on anything, and they just did it because it was bureaucratic.
Yeah, they just did it.
100% true. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So apparently they started off, and this is the first time that we've seen an actual celebrated Trek holiday before TOS, other than First Contact Day, which we constantly get reminded of in Enterprise. But they called this Federation Day, and then consequently 200 years later, 120 years later, Frontier Day, give or take a few decades. Who cares? It's the 25th century. So yeah, La'an is teaching Spock how to dance in this reality, okay? And Spock, deep down with his half-human self, is excited, okay? He's excited because Nurse Chaple is coming back from her 3-month thing, and he's excited. Now, to be fair, Christine told him, "Don't wait for me." She flat out said it. That should have reached the Vulcan half of his mind, but it did not. So not only is he excited and all giddy and smiling a little bit more than he canonically should, he brings her a book, like an ancient book. Okay, I thought it was the Darkhold from Doctor Strange. That it looked like the Darkhold. I'm pretty sure.
It did, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So Christine gets on board the ship, bringing Dr. Corby. Now, given what we know, because I have seen this episode too, given what we know about Dr. Corby, they are supposed to end up together. Which means that this union is inevitable. It's going to happen. What I liked about it is that they didn't just throw Corby in there because he canonically should be in there. They threw in an immense amount of uncertainty throughout this episode. Like, not only do we get to know Corby, but we get to know Spock and his jealousy, you know? We get to see an alternate reality where things are different. What if Spock is the one marrying Dr. Corby, rather than Corby be boyfriends with Christine? Right? So, right away, who else do we know throughout Star Trek that can alternate entire realities? Q! Okay? But not just any Q. Trelane. How you doing, Trelane? Long time no see. Nice jacket. How you doing, buddy? Well, it gets good, okay? Because this is my favorite part, and this is why I like this episode a little bit more, actually a lot more, hell a lot more, than the first episode. Because let me tell you what happens. Okay, this is great. This is great. Okay, so everyone is under this mind control, and really, to be fair, reality did change. It's not just their minds, you know, but it doesn't take much to change. All you have to do is just add some flowers and change everyone's mind and give everyone fabulous dress attire, fabulous costume design. I mean, beautiful, like gorgeous. I loved everything, and I saw what they're doing with Uhura too. They're really styling her up. Like, I want to know what a GQ magazine or fashion magazine looks like in the 23rd century.
When she was with Erica, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. And also, we have always seen reporters throughout all of Star Trek, especially in Generations. But we have never seen, this means something to me, we have never seen a videographer, ever. We've seen a reporter, we've seen a news broadcaster, we've seen singers, we've seen actors. We have not seen a videographer until Ortega's brother comes on board the ship.
Ooh.
And ends up having a crush on Uhura, you know, because why not? I see no reason why not. So they really bring that up, and they use words like video or cinematography and documentary. He's a videographer. I'm freaking out. So that's part of like I think that was the that's part of the B plot of this particular episode ish. Ish. They don't really go too much into it. This is mainly about Spock and Corby. And I hope I'm not mixing things up. No, I shouldn't be, because Ortegas was quite busy bleeding out on the console as she was flying back to the ship in the last episode. So this is definitely episode number 2. Right. Well, everyone is under the mind control, right, of this Trelane entity, which they don't name him Trelane because if they did, then Spock will remember who Trelane was 10 years later on the Enterprise under Kirk, and then it would have ruined canon. So thank you for not giving us his name, even though normally everyone and their mama would have been know. Someone would have asked him, who are you? Someone would have asked him, but no one did, because we should. All right. Well, Corby was the only one who remembered everything, which is interesting. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is the first time that we have seen a different perspective of a character who remembers everything. Normally in Star Trek, they are the main character. Normally, we see it from their first perspective. We are seeing things from Spock's perspective mainly. So, from Spock's perspective, all of a sudden, everything changed because he had a drink and made a wish that he probably shouldn't have. And he sees Corby come up to him saying, you should not be marrying Christine. I should be with her. And Spock is like, the fuck? It's like, no, you're crazy, dude. And rightfully so, because you just don't do that, right? Well, we saw in the Kelvin timeline what it looks like when you antagonize Spock. He will knock the hell out of you. Okay, he beat the shit out of Khan, forgive my French, and he mollywopped Kirk on the bridge of the Enterprise in front of everyone. Right. So it was kind of nice seeing Spock throw a punch at Corby, and to be fair, he deserved it. He really deserved it. Like, I know they wrote him in a way that we don't like him, but even in TOS, Corby was a jerk. Like he was a jerk, an asshole. And then there wasn't even him; it was a robot.
What?
Yeah. Corby was gone. You find out at the end of that TOS episode that it was the cyborg version of him, and that the original Corby was dead.
Oh no. Yeah,
he took his Iron Man and Iron Man skills way too far, and to the point where the cybernetic version kind of took over, and then his body decayed. He transferred his consciousness into this being, not like Picard, where it's like biomechanical. This one was just straight up robot. Like At least that's what I remembered anyway. So it was kind of like a big revelation that Corby was dead all along, but in this version was just here. Mm-hmm. So Corby was always a jerk. So me personally, he deserved that punch for being a jerk throughout all of canon. That's me. Okay. All right. Well, when that happened, it released some sort of adrenaline or some sort of chemical thing. Spike, yeah. Thank you. That made Spock remember, like, okay, yeah, I do want to marry her, but this is not the reality we should be in. Even though he could have got away with it. He really could have. But he's like, no, because Spock, he's all about doing the right thing. Even though he has his moments, he's all about doing the right thing. Or to the best of his knowledge. Or his ability at the time. So, that said, they go throughout the ship, they try to tell everyone, they don't listen. It's just futile. Skip on over to, because we only have like roughly 15 minutes left, skip on over to the wedding. Spock paid attention to how Corby and Christine met. It was over a poem. And Spock knew that he couldn't just tell Christine this, that, and the third, because Corby tried, and each time Christine shut him down. As a matter of fact, Trelane turned Corby into a dog, a pug to be specific, because he was talking too much. And I was just like, that is such a callback to when Q turned Beverly Crusher into a golden retriever. I think. Right. And then we see Puppies in Voyager, and the female Q's girlfriend called basically Janeway a bitch. Oh no, my light. There we go. All right. So after all that, Spock speaks the same poem to Christine that Corey spoke to her in the real reality. Let's call it the prime reality. And Trelane is like, no, this is not supposed to happen. Now Christine remembers everything. So now Trelane is threatening to kill everyone at this wedding. Okay? And everyone is just like, yo, what's going on? Why are you threatening to kill us? They still have no idea what's going on. And then the same ball of light, because we know it's Trelane by now. The same ball of light that we saw in the TOS episode that checked Trelane for messing around and doing a bunch of Meshuggah Minushi. Okay? That's the phrase that I came up with lately, Meshuggah Minushi. It's one of my favorite words now. I like it. It's one word. Not two. One. I don't care. I like this word. It's mine. So I don't know why I elongated that. So the same ball of light comes down and checks Trelane. Okay? Guess who that ball of light was?
I'm reading.
Q!
Yeah.
John Delancey.
John Delancey.
He comes back as Q. He comes back as that ball of light.
Yeah.
And you hear Q's voice. And apparently, now we have a frame of reference for age. Even though there's a couple of plot hole points because the Voyager episode with procreation with Q kind of messes things up a little bit, but it's whatever. You know what? We'll figure it out later. We'll come up with our own theory. We always do. But this Q entity is a baby Q who is 8,070 years old in Earth years.
Mm-hmm.
So he is an infant. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he called Jean Delancey's voice, who know is Q, Dad.
Dad.
Now, there's a lot of plot holes in this. Okay? There's a lot of plot holes. Quite frankly, I don't care. Okay? We'll figure it out.
Fan service. A lot of fan service.
Yeah, a lot of right. It was a lot of fan service. And so Q said, bring everyone back to the way they were. So he snaps, and everyone's memory is back.
Oh.
Christopher Pike gets on the altar as both Q entities float away, and he gives his last-minute crumped-up speech about Federation Day, and that, you know what better way than to be mind-controlled by some reality-altering entity, is what Pike said. On Federation Day, and we come here just so fabulously. We're here to celebrate. Let's celebrate while we're here. And really, it was even though it was nice fan service to connect Trelane and Q officially,
Mm-hmm.
the episode was mainly about, does Spock have it in him to let Christine go? So, we know canonically he should.
Did he?
He did. And I like that he struggled with that because he struggled with that, not because Star Trek writers said, well, Christine has to marry Corby later on anyway, so they can't be together. They really drew it out and made it look like, yeah, this is Spock's personal journey. This is his growth journey. Like, and see, he lets her go. That's the end. They're still colleagues. They're still co-workers. Vague friends. But in a relationship, no.
Uh-huh. It's John Delancey's voice. And that ball of light is reminiscent to another form that Q took when they sped away in the TNG. When they sped away, they had a ball. Like
the ball was chasing them. Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's just much nicer in this episode. Like I'm just looking. I was like, I wanted to skip to a Frozen scene where I could see the ball of light and see it sort of in motion, and it's super detailed. Again, I'll make the argument that we don't need all these fancy bells and whistles. Just give us 26 episodes of the season. I'll be much happier. I mean, it's edifying to see these sorts of things, but if I had to sacrifice budget, and think of it as like one of those meters where you have strength or agility or whatever, and we had one of those bars for like plot versus like setting, I'll take plot any day of the week. They used to do bottle episodes. They used to do cool one room things. Like, just had a lot more carpeting. Anyway, it's a good episode. I haven't seen the end for anyone watching. That's why Will and I and Jason earlier were talking about how spoilers, for the episode, watching it before we came and reviewing it and stuff. But I guess I'm not like I'm happy to know because I forget so easily. I'll rewatch the episode and be like, oh, and genuinely be surprised again. At any rate, it's really nice to see SNW pay that much like fan service or lip service or whatever to previous plot. I kind of agree with you that I had thought they would develop more of the Gorn, but I kind of like that they're out there in the background. Like they've dealt with them, they've had an experience with them, and they can move on to like showing other things on the actual show. I just don't think they even when the message got through to April, and he's like, "Oh, did you need anything?" He's like, "No," and we finally found a way to punch back. At that moment, even though I know that it worked, I wouldn't cockily walk into a turbo lift like we did it. You have to verify stuff, and sorry, maybe I'm a stickler for things, but it seemed very definitive that like it had worked. And I know obviously they all sped off, and that's just how Star Trek is and stuff, but it was a bit fast for me. Sorry, it's too much too fast. Oh, you're muted, Habibi. Yeah, you got the mute button going.
I was agreeing with you. It was too fast.
Yeah.
It was too much too fast. But it's just like, I don't know how much they're going to squeeze in these last 3 seasons.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
I did read an article saying that they were hoping to do a crossover with the animated series. Like they liked the Lower Decks crossover so much that they... Oh, I'm breaking up?
I mean, I can kind of hear you, but like you're like breaking up.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. You're there again. Sweet.
Better?
Okay. Yes, much better. So
okay.
what were you? So what were you saying one more time? If you repeat that last statement.
What was I saying?
I have no idea. But we picked it up off of it was too much too fast, and I have no idea how much they're going to squeeze into these last 3 seasons. Like,
right. Oh, and then I said, I just read an article that there was a crossover idea floated for the animated series.
Oh.
Yeah, because they liked the Lower Decks one so much that they were like, oh, we could do something where a plot from the animated series. So, and then they said we weren't sure if we want to take SNW into like an animated realm, but this is kind of their way. It was a very interesting article. We talked about different solutions for what they would do, and put these on the back burner for like the next 5 or 6 years while they like play out other Paramount IP. Basically, they can't afford to do too much too fast. It might go to animation. Like if they're stopping with Lower Decks, it's dumb. They should just do more seasons of Lower Decks. But they did like SNW, and they kept the voice actors going. Like it does seem like a vehicle to bring back, like in Lower Decks, like Quark or Kira, or people who you may not believe on screen are similar age because so much time has passed, or they may not want to put on the makeup and stuff. But you give them a voice acting role, and it's canon. Like it's in it's interacting with. So, I'm all for it.
I think. I wish I could join the bandwagon and call Strange New Worlds the most Trek show that there ever is, that I keep hearing other Trekkies say. I'm watching this show from a historical lens. like purely historical. What happened before Kirk took over? What happened leading up to Pike's physical demise? That's it. It's not like Discovery to me where you can really go and explore into the future of the 32nd century. You know, it's not like that. And eventually give birth to what we'll see later as Starfleet Academy, apparently, which they wrapped up season 1, by the way. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's coming out next year.
I do have one more point.
Please.
I think you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time there's this they won't stay thing with like Chapel and Spock. Like maybe I missed something, but isn't Spock engaged and like supposedly with someone else?
Spock is engaged, and the divorce does happen later on in Kirk's TOS. They, I would say they allude to, but I think they flat out said it. They didn't want to get married to each other, and they don't care that they're with other people. They were forced to be married.
Maybe I missed that.
Yeah, it was one of those things where they did it to honor their to do their duty to both of their families' honors, and both of their families forced them to get married. The same way that they, the same way, if I'm not mistaken, the same way they tried to force T'Pol to marry somebody in Enterprise, but never succeeded. Well, Spock didn't really have a trip to come there and save him, so they did it. And because Spock was technically married in TOS, they had to make that happen. It sucked, but that's the way it was. And then at the end of that episode, we did get to see a piece of Sybok. He was in prison at that point. But
maybe I just didn't finish the season.
Yeah, that's all in season 2.
I didn't see this part, or at least I don't remember it.
Yeah, they reluctantly get married to each other. She is more. What was her name? T'Pring.
Oh, good for her.
I cannot believe I remember that.
That's impressive.
I am very surprised I remembered that. Like, because I know T'Pau was from Enterprise, so and I know it doesn't matter. So, she was more devoted to her duty and took her role as a wife seriously, even though she openly admitted, "I don't want to be with you." And then we got to see a piece of her with another Vulcan that we learn in TOS that she had an affair with anyway.
Really?
And they end up together because it was the fight episode that Kirk and Spock had to fight. I don't know why. I still don't know why, but they had to fight over the shit. But I still don't get it. It's just macho shit. But
the
essentially,
land of the 1960s. So.
Right. I'm sitting there going like, what do y'all really accomplish by this? Let's be for real. Like, hey, you're not going through Pon farr. Like, you're just fighting literally for no reason. Like
ratings.
Rating, exactly. So she's technically, so Spock's wife is technically having an affair right now. And Spock, I think he slept with Christine at least once. Once. At some point in season 2. So they have this mutual understanding that we don't really want to be with each other, so we're just gonna...
I think I've missed that because like it feels like scene missing. You know, it's like something is there, but like I don't remember this. And I do remember you guys discussing it though.
They didn't make it a big deal. It was just like occasional 1, 2, 3 lines, and then that's it. And then we do see who T'Pring ends up having the affair with, or the love affair, or emotional affair with, whatever. Later on, he is one of, at that point, he was one of her servants, advisors, something like that. One of those. Like, they didn't do anything yet. We just see him, and then we later see in TOS they
got together. So did you like these episodes, man?
Yeah.
Would you have done anything
different?
Or... the pacing, the acting. I mean, these are my small criticisms. But obviously, like, we can't all get what we want. It's not always like in terms of plot. Do you think they're telling a good story? Because that's kind of, for me, my barometer. It's
I
It's a
know.
tough question, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. I know that they filmed Hegemony Part 2 as part of season 2. That's normally what happens.
Oh.
So I look for me personally, I look at the start of season 3 with the
The
Christine.
other part.
Yeah, the other part.
I like that. I like that. Because it's 3 months later.
It's 3 months later, and it kind of makes no sense to just redestroy everything on the Enterprise. Just to film the same scene that you're going to be in Hegemony and facing the Gorn. No, they kept going and they kept filming, and all the actors, and I've seen this in multiple shows actually, even Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where they do film the first episode technically of the next season as part 2 of the last episode of the last season. And legally, they sign NDAs and they can't talk about it until it comes out. So, so to answer your question from the start of the Trelane episode, is it fan service? Yes, it is. Because here's the thing, they kind of already answered the Trelane situation with the crossover episode with Lower Decks. Mariner said they have a Trelane situation going on in this period.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. And that's really all you needed. Like,
it's a known thing. Yeah.
It's a known thing at this point. It's history, you know? I will love, because I'm a Trekkie, I will love Jean Delancey in literally anything he is in that he cameos in. I don't care. But logically, they could have done better. Q specifically said the Q don't procreate or make themselves exist. They've always existed. Unless they just don't count Trelane because he was a disgrace. And maybe Trelane was the guy who turned into Armis later on because everyone didn't like him. Maybe it's that.
He's in the new comics of the God Butcher. Yeah. So I think they killed. Keith was telling me. Keith, buddy, where are you?
I hope he's okay. Keith, I hope you're good.
I love you, you're okay, buddy. And just all of this stuff with Cisco and they called the Plenorama or something. This new place where all these gods exist together, and Trelane is there. I think he's killed by the Klingon god. What's his name? Kahless.
Kahless killed him?
He's the God Butcher. He gets some sort of crazy power and he goes on a killing spree. This part it's wild.
Isn't that basically the plot of Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yeah, Gorn the God Butcher. Yes, it's very similar.
Huh. I'm gonna have to read that one. That actually sounds interesting.
The covers are really pretty. All the different covers. We did that on the before the break. Me, you, and Keith, we reviewed those covers from that series.
The covers. That's right.
Sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, that was it. I was fascinated because I was like, oh, wow, that actually sounds really cool.
It's a very cool plot, but it also explains the Trelane stuff. And I think they say that he's not a Q. That's why I have to ask Keith. Is that he's just okay, and SNL and SNW is sort of saying, so which is canon and do we care about canon? But or maybe one property is saying this and one property is saying that. So I have to go and look up what the comics say about Trelane. But I think he told me that he was different somehow. But John Delancey's voice, and we've seen John Delancey procreate. We've seen him as a Q have a kid. To me, because time and space are irrelevant to these, it's the same kid or his brother. Trelane is that kid.
And we've seen throughout Picard that different versions of Q go into different periods of time. Like, even though he's dead now, he still exists outside of time, which means he can go back in
anywhere,
Nexus style, any place he wants.
Yes. So if he's young, he's just born, right? Like, it could be an earlier
version of Q.
Here's the thing, and he's wearing the whole Trelane thing and stuff. And I think the first time we see Q on TNG, there's a callback to Trelane. He's wearing some sort of naval uniform or whatever.
Gene Roddenberry did do that on purpose.
So I think that the Voyager Q2 or whatever, because when they talk about the procreation of the Q and stuff, and
are you suggesting that Trelane was
Q2, or again, different entity?
No, that works. That tracks. Like,
yeah,
that is crazy.
But he has a name here. He calls himself Trelane. Like, Qs rarely take names.
Yeah,
it's weird, right?
The only nickname that Q's son got was Q Ball.
But it is a name. So I think, did he use the name Trelane in the episode?
No, but the only other Q that wanted to end his life, he went by Quinn.
That's right.
So he did name himself. Yeah, that was the Q who wanted to end his life.
Yeah. And he was also in a war and more stuff with Riker. Anyway,
he was tired.
I digress. I think that there's a thing where they like to go to human wars, or like the time that Q was showing his son around and stuff, and he was playing with what's that X-Borg? Him and the X-Borg were palling around, and the kid with the nose, the kill later. Do you know what I'm talking?
Icheb, yeah.
And he cares about him and whatever and all that stuff, and he's just like throwing galaxies at one another, and like he's like, oh, I did this to this son. He's like messing around and stuff, and so obviously they're mischievous. But isn't there also like another episode where in TOS where there's some like green energy thing, and it like is also playing a game with them, and then its parent calls it back, and he has to be like, Mom, I'm playing with the humans, and he has to like put back the humans. But it's the crew.
I mean, there were similar episodes like that. You're not talking about the episode where Q loses his powers.
I'm talking about the TOS, the original series, where there's like a green energy, but it's omnipotent, and it like.
Are you talking about the giant green hand that grabs the ship?
I think so, but then it turns out that it has a parent as well.
As a parent, yeah. I vaguely remember that one, but I don't remember the plot.
Having like a godlike being that like suddenly gets called away by its parent is something I've seen in TOS, I think. But anyway, we are at an hour and 8, my friend. I think it's time for a wrap.
I think so too. And even with just the two of us, we can still go overtime. But guys, thank you so much to the 2 and 3 people that were watching this consistently throughout the whole show. We really appreciate you. Shout out to you for real. Yeah, get ready to catch us next week as we go over episode 3 of Strange New Worlds. I cannot wait to see what they do. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm just so excited. I turned on my Paramount Plus for this, so yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah, live long and prosper, guys, and we'll see you next week on Trekkers Delight. Peace.
Wait, Jason, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you being right now? I gotta know.
I'm serious, dude. You got
like 10 out of 10 serious, or picking on Michael serious? Which one?
There is no temperature in space. It's not cold.
What are you serious?
Okay, wait.
Who is somebody? Oh dear God! It just got
because you said his name.
Oh!
Welcome to the party, Michael.
No, that is not how we're gonna end the episode
No.
because Keith
No.
actually has like a legitimate news update. He knows shit, and we should possibly like convey that knowledge.
That's my favorite line. He knows shit.
It's just like a black and red mound. It's like,
Why are you describing yourself?
what the hell?
Hello from man.
Hey, Virgil.
Hey,
Hey, Virgil.
welcome.
Hello, Virgil. Welcome. Who are you?
Who?